Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 20 of The Long Way Forward, a podcast about you, the future, and winning. This is episode 20. The title of this episode is Consistency, the leader's true signature. And when I say leader, that doesn't necessarily mean king of the world or queen of the world. It just means someone who is leading in their life. Could be leading others, could be leading yourself. Today, we're going to talk about something that sits aligned with everything we've covered so far, but it often doesn't get the attention that it deserves. Consistency. Never underestimate consistency. I'll give you one good example. Let's think McDonald's. Love them, hate them. The Big Mac is a Big Mac is a Big Mac. Consistency. They've built their brand on it. Now, quick sidestep and a nod to the past. We've spoken about values. We've spoken about alignment, perseverance, knowing your numbers, getting better through reflection, and having standards. But here's the truth, the inside gossip, if you will. None of those things matter unless they're consistent. Hear the saying, flash in the pan, one-hit wonder? Consistency is what turns intention and results into identity, reputation, and a strong future. So if you want to find out more, keep listening. A quick dive backwards. If you're new to The Long Way Forward, we're about 20 episodes in. I highly recommend that you start at the start because episode 1, that's where it all begins. Those are the foundations. If you begin there, the whole lot adds a lot more meaning to it. Let me explain what I mean about consistency though. Anyone can do something once. Well, most people can do something once. For example, anyone can show up with effort for a day. Anyone can make a good decision in a moment. Anyone can exhibit self-discipline. Briefly, in most cases. But what defines you and your future and your outcomes, what people come to expect from you, what shapes your results over time, it's what you do repeatedly. That's consistency. And it becomes something I'm going to call your signature. Consistency, what you do repeatedly, over and over again. You get good at it. You get excellent at it. You keep showing up, you keep practicing, applying what we've talked about. That is the reward for consistency, and that becomes your signature. And whether you realize it or not, people notice your consistency. It's not what you say, not what you brag about, not what you intend to do. You ever hear the saying, gonna do this, gonna do that? In Australia, we have a saying, we call them gunners. Gonna do this, gonna do that, gunners. It's what you actually do that matters, over and over again. Not just once, you've got to do it again and again. And that consistency is what builds your reputation. And this applies everywhere. Could be work, could be at home, could be in your relationships, in your habits. If you're consistent, people know where they stand with you. And they like that. People become comfortable with you. They look forward to interacting with you because they know where they stand. They rely on you because you are reliable. That's a reputational outcome that money can't buy. There's clarity, there's predictability, and there's trust. Now at this point, I'm just going to stop for a moment and just reflect. In episode 20, we've come a long way in The Long Way Forward, 20 episodes. If you're enjoying this podcast, please subscribe. We've got a lot more to go. The name of the podcast, The Long Way Forward, is exactly that. We've got so much learnings we've shared, but there's so much more to share. Now, let's dive back into consistency. We touched on predictability. We touched on trust. And we touched on clarity. Now what happens, what's the reverse of consistency? Inconsistency. If you're inconsistent, people don't know what to expect. One day you're focused, the next day you're not. You run hot and cold, they say. One day you follow through, You complete things, the next day you don't. You're missing in action, MIA. And that uncertainty creates confusion. It creates friction. It creates distrust. Now, in my many years in business and sales, I've seen this play out many times. You could have two people, both with similar ability, similar opportunities. One is consistent, the other one is not. Now, early on, they might look the same. The inconsistent person might even look better for a moment, might look blindingly good. They might have bursts of energy, flashes of brilliance, but over time, something different happens. The consistent person becomes dependable, reliable, trusted. They might not be the loudest. They might not stand out immediately, but they build something much stronger, trust. In the basketball world or the sporting world, you might hear them referred to as a solid citizen. You might have even heard the story about the hare and the tortoise, where the hare is racing along and then stops, but the tortoise just keeps going consistently, 1 foot forward, one after the other. And who wins the race in the end? I think we all know that one. Let's get back to trust. Trust is an awesome thing to have in your life. When people trust you, it creates opportunity. You don't go looking for it. It just comes your way because people trust you, but you had to earn it, right? People give responsibility to those they trust. They rely on those they trust. Best of all, they back the ones they trust. If you want people's support, you got to earn it. Consistency will help you with that. Whereas someone who is inconsistent, even if they're really capable, even if they've shown potential, people hesitate before giving them trust. Because unpredictability means, although they might be a nice person, when the outcome is super important. Now here's the important part. Consistency is not about perfection. It's not about getting everything right. It's not about never making mistakes. It's about being steady, showing up, following through, more often than not. I'll give you a simple example. If someone says they'll do something and they do it every time, you trust them. You don't think twice. You don't need to follow up because you know they'll do it. But if someone says they'll do something, and sometimes they do and sometimes they don't, you hesitate, you double check, you follow up. Because even if they're capable, consistency builds confidence. Inconsistency builds the reverse. Now let's bring this back to you, because this is where it really matters. Ask yourself this question: what do people experience consistently from me? Where am I always showing up? Not occasionally, not on a good day. Consistency. What do people, and where and when, but most importantly, what do people experience consistently from me? Is it effort? Early on in my career, that's all I had. Go, go, go. Is it follow through? That's important. Is it calmness under pressure? Is it reliability? Is it honesty? Or is it inconsistency? And this isn't about being critical. Don't pay out on yourself. It's just about being aware, about understanding where you are and where you're consistent and if you're not. Because awareness is where improvement starts. Remember, in an earlier episode, I said if you can measure it, you can manage it. If you're awake to it, you can do something with it. If you're blind, you've got no idea. So awareness of something about yourself is where improvement starts. And that's super relevant anywhere in life. And this can also apply internally. For example, the relationship you have with yourself is built on consistency. If you always follow through on what you say you'll do, you trust yourself. If you don't, you feel weak. I know I was there when I was younger, still am sometimes, working on it. We're all a work in progress. When that trust in yourself weakens, though, everything feels harder. Do you know what I mean? Have you been there? I've been there. Motivation drops because you just don't trust that you can get it done. Confidence drops because you don't back yourself. And then you start second guessing yourself. And the second you do that, you slow down, things get difficult. But when you build consistency, even in small things, something shifts. You start trusting your own actions. You become more confident, more stable, and more reliable, even if it's just to yourself. Here's something I've learned over time. Consistency does not come from motivation. It comes from standards. Remember those? We touched on them in a previous episode. It comes from standards. If you rely on how you feel, you'll be inconsistent because how you feel changes. Oh, I don't feel like doing that right now. But if you've decided that you will rely on what you've decided matters, you become consistent. So in other words, if you identify what's important to you and you stick to that, no matter what, you become consistent. So instead of asking, do I feel like doing this today? The better question is this something I've committed to? And if the answer is yes, you've committed to it, whether it's to yourself or to someone else, you do it. That is consistency. Here's a practical example. Let's say you decide to improve something. It might be your health. It might be your work output, your mindset, whatever it is. If you rely on motivation, you will start strong and you'll feel good. You'll feel great. But then when your motivation fades, your effort fades. And where you finish, who knows? But if you rely on consistency, if you've decided to commit to something, you show up anyway. Even when it's not exciting, even when it feels ordinary, and even when you can't see an immediate result, that's where the difference is made, because just by showing up, you've achieved a result. You've improved all of those things that build towards trust. Not in the big moments, but in the repeated ones. So here's something practical for you this week. Second exercise, if you will. Pick one area of your life, sporting, personal, work, hobby, doesn't matter. Pick one area of your life, just one. And ask yourself, where in this am I inconsistent right now? Don't overcomplicate it, just find one area. Then think about it. Choose one simple action you can repeat daily. Something small, something realistic, something you can actually stick to and commit to it for the next 7 days. Not perfectly, just consistently. Could just be getting out of bed on time. Could just be catching the train, the same one every time, and arriving to work on time. But once you build consistency in one area, it carries over into others. It builds momentum, and over time, it becomes a part of who you are. It's automatic, it becomes part of your DNA. Now here's the key takeaway from this. Consistency is not what you do when it's easy. It's what you do when it's not easy. That's what people notice. That's what builds trust. That's what creates results. Now in the next episode, of course, as always, we're going to take this just that one step further. We're going to talk about accountability, because consistency builds standards. Accountability is what locks them in. This is the Long Way Forward podcast. My name's Brian. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you in the next episode. Hopefully you'll subscribe. If you've got any questions or if you'd like to add some comments, please do. I enjoy seeing the comments and I do respond to them. Thank you for listening to my podcast.